Scott Rosenberg. I'm with the City of Worthington as the Park Supervisor and City Forester. So the ash trees have been dying here in Worthington and all around throughout the United States, I guess, for the past 20 years. We've had it here in Worthington since 2019 it was found. There's a bug called emerald ash borer that starts in the top of the tree and works its way down. The adult comes and lays eggs on the leaves. Those eggs hatch into microscopic larvae, which tunnel and burrow into the live wood on the inner layer of bark and outer layer of sapwood, cutting off the food supply going down to the roots and the water supply coming up to give water for the tree in the top. The ash borer attacks just the ash. So in our area, we pretty much just have the green ash, white ash, and there are some Mancana ash predominantly is what's here. The emerald ash borer is not going to go away. What's going to happen is we're climbing and getting to a higher point of a population of bug right now. And within the next couple of years, I would expect to see that population, as their food source and these trees are all dying and being removed, that their population will start to decline. And when their population declines, they're going to hit a point that they're just going to maintain a low level. And then there's always going to be ash trees because you're going to have areas like groves, unmaintained areas, road ditches, property lines where neither homeowner cuts off the little trees that start growing up in a fence line. And there's that seed bank that we have from all the ash trees that we've had for years. And those seeds are going to grow and start new ash trees. And as those trees get to be about 6-inch diameter and larger, then the ash borer is going to begin to attack those as a food source again. And then their population will come up slightly again until they kill those trees back again. So there's going to be a cycle from here until the end of time, I would say. Firewood shouldn't be transported anywhere in the area. As far as the hardwoods, we are in a quarantined area. It actually is legal to transport within quarantined areas, but not recommended. We have been removing 150 ash trees on city boulevards and within parks since the bug was found here in Worthington. We've removed those 150 every year since 2019, and this year will probably be our last run that we will have almost all of the ash trees removed from the boulevards. There's one variety that we are looking at and waiting on to see what kind of resistance it shows. Most of those are younger trees, so they're not going to be a big problem if they do start to die in a couple years to come back and have to remove those later. But we have made it through all the parks. All the ash trees are out of the parks, and we've taken care of along a lot of the bike trails and that as well. The city has done their own tree removal at this point. We've only had a couple trees that we've had to get assistance and hire a contractor to come in and help take down. Otherwise, we've done all this removal of the boulevard and park trees and along bike trails and around the lake. We've done all this with city staff to help minimize the impact to the taxpayers by being proactive when we started after we found the bug, rather than waiting until the trees started to die, because we knew that time was going to be important. Once these trees started to die, we weren't going to have a lot of time to get them removed before they become a public hazard. So if you have an ash tree on your private property, you should be considering removing it sooner rather than later, because the trees die rapidly. Once you could start seeing that dieback in the top of the tree, you've probably only got another year or two of live growth in that tree, and you're going to see considerable dieback every year in that from that point. And when that starts to happen, once that tree is dead or that limb is dead, you've probably only got a couple years before you stand the possibility of having large limbs begin falling out of that tree and doing damage to your property. The only other thing you can do if you've already done it, or if you have a tree that still looks really good, that you don't see all that dieback, it can be treated with injections and that to try to save the tree. So the best way to identify an ash tree is during the growing season. You can look at its leaves and look for a leaflet that has multiple leaves on the sides of those, and they're opposite. Leaves are opposite of each other. There's usually 5 to 11 depending on variety of ash tree. And then where those leaflets attach to the actual twig or branch, they're also arranged opposite across from each other on the branch as well as the buds. Then the other thing that you can look for too, especially on a green ash, which is kind of our predominant ash in the area, on a mature tree they have diamond-shaped pattern on their bark. We've been replanting about 100 trees every spring since this has started, and we're planting varieties like hackberries, lindens, just a few maples because we have so many maples already. We don't want to overpopulate with maples in case there's another bug or disease that comes in years to come, and then lose another third of our trees that are here. We've been planting some smaller, more ornamental trees as well, like some flowering crabs. We've been putting in some Japanese lilac trees. And then we've also done quite a few oaks we've been trying, and catalpas, and kind of stuff that you don't see as much, but that is hardy here.